On January 29th, a section of California's scenic Highway 1 went from this to this. And the destruction of this critical piece of iconic infrastructure can be traced back to one of California's increasingly devastating wildfires. The challenge of putting the highway back together falls to Caltrans, California's transportation department. And as wildfires here have become more frequent and severe, it's become an increasing challenge to keep this highway on land, threatening California's crown jewel of roads and the economic activity it brings to the state.
As far as our response to bigger and more destructive wildfires, it's becoming increasingly difficult for us because these fires are lasting longer into the season. And when we try to mitigate for post-fire debris flows, like we did at over 50 some odd sites with the Dolan fire, you're in this time crunch in between those fires ending later and later, and increased activity rainfall-wise.
A debris flow is exactly what's to blame for the washout here at Rat Creek, located approximately 170 miles south of San Francisco. In August of 2020, the Dolan fire burned nearly 130,000 acres of coastline in the Big Sur region. That left a large burn scar on this hillside, and with it, plenty of loose timber. When an unusually intense atmospheric river parked over Monterey County around January 28th, peaks in the Big Sur region recorded approximately 16 inches of rain over 2 days. What resulted was a river of trees, rocks, mud, and other debris that plugged the drainage channel running under the highway into the ocean. Once that culvert was plugged up, water began to rise, eventually cascading over the highway and washing out a 150-foot chunk into the Pacific Ocean.
The vast quantity of debris that came down in this event is not something that is frequent by any means.
Caltrans anticipates this site will reopen by early summer 2021 at an expense of about $11.5 million, adding to the $200 million California has already spent over the past 5.5 years for repairs along Highway 1 in the Big Sur region.
So we are going to rappel over the west side of the highway here, and our goal is to ascertain and collect information about the existing condition. In the event that we decide to reconstruct the fill, we will also reconstruct the drainage system, and we want to know exactly where that drainage system will outlet and what the conditions are.
Caltrans has decided to reconstruct the fill over a new culvert at the Rat Creek site. However, the landscape will continue to change, and the time needed to clean up post-wildfire debris flows will continue to shrink as fire season lengthens into the rainy season. Yet another example of the threat intense wildfires and extreme storms bring to the state.